Welcome to the WIHS Journal. Are you interested in losing weight and changing your lifestyle for the better? Well, on today's broadcast, we had the blessing in our studios of meeting Georgia Wright, a Christian. She's also a certified nutritional coach, and she's also a vegan chef. Today in the broadcast, we'll hear how her diet changed for the better and has enhanced her life for that. Stay tuned for all the details with our conversation with Georgia. Well, today in the WIHS studio, we have a special treat, a woman of God, Georgia Wright. She is a raw vegan chef, and she's a health educator. We've just been sitting here before we turned on the microphone, and she's just educating me on so much different pearls of wisdom of God's food that he created for us. So before we start talking about all this, the vegan lifestyle, maybe you can just give a little bit quickly of a background of how you got into it.
10 years ago, my husband and I and our two younger children, we have 4 girls. And so the 2 younger ones, the 2 older ones were off to college, and the 2 younger ones and my husband, we packed up and we moved to Georgia. And that was about August of 2015. Well, 4 months later, my husband got diagnosed with cancer. And it was about, the diagnosis was 4 days into a 21-day fast that I was experiencing. And I do believe that God was preparing me for this journey, because when I got the diagnosis, I wasn't as shaken as I thought I would be. But I knew instantly that what I was doing, he also needed to change. And so once my fast was over, I realized that I didn't want to go back to eating the food that I was eating before my fast, the meat, protein. And so I said to my husband, I think we should consider being vegan. And so my husband agreed, and I wanted to know more about health and nutrition and how food worked, the science of food. And so I attended a school that taught health science, how food, molecular structure of food, and eating food in its raw state and natural state was better for you. And so I became a raw vegan chef.
And I did read a little bit about your husband, that he had the most aggressive kind of cancer, pancreatic cancer.
Yes.
And he lived like 3 years after that?
Almost 3 years. So my husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and liver cancer.
Wow.
So he was diagnosed with 2 aggressive cancer. There were lesions all over his liver. And so he was stage 4 and terminal. The diet and the lifestyle really made a difference, we included like other things like herbs, different types of herbs like dandelion root, wormwood, the yellow dock root, herbs that were blood cleansing herbs, and herbs that, nourish the body.
What are the common misconceptions, because there's so many of them, about, I know there's misconceptions to other people. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
One of the things that I would like to clear up is the stigma that's associated with when believers think of veganism. They think of New Age religion, they think of, you're wearing the tie-dye shirt, or you're sitting out in the wilderness meditating with your hands up and saying Husa. It is really how we're supposed to eat, right? When you think about the 3 Hebrew boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they had a diet of pulse, which is lentils, right, vegetables and fruits. And they said to the King Nebuchadnezzar, let us eat this. We don't want to eat from your rich plate of, the meats and the rich foods that a king would eat, but we want to have our fruits and vegetables. And we will come. You can examine us in 10 days and see how we are. And they were the fittest. They were the strongest of all the other people who were there. And so their diet was a vegan diet. We see how when you eat certain types of food, it does show in your energy and even your health and it shows up in your life. But a lot of believers have not made the association with eating healthy, a whole food diet of rich in grains and legumes and nuts and vegetables and fruits. But it really is the way that we are to live. And meat is not bad. As believers, we really should eat more fruits and vegetables.
One thing I want to talk about is, what are some of the biggest challenges people do face when transitioning to even a vegan lifestyle, and how can they overcome them?
First, understanding what you're giving up. Some of the animal protein does have B12, and your body needs B12. So what you should do is do supplementation. So if you're no longer getting your B12 from your meat protein, then you need to get the liquid B12, which is also the sublingual, meaning you put the liquid under your tongue. the research that I've done and reviews, I saw that the liquid B12 is much better than the capsules or anything else. Supplementation is important. Understanding that you are going to miss out on some things, so you have to now supplement it with other vitamins that you'd have to add to your diet. Have a meatless Monday.
Yeah.
Start with a meatless Monday, or just 2 days a week where you eat meat. That way, you can do it gradually, and you're not just going cold turkey, because cold turkey is hard.
When you say vegan lifestyle, do you think everyone should like make minestrone soup or raw? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that. Like I love minestrone soup.
Raw veganism is extreme. When I say extreme, going from cooked animal protein to just raw vegetables and fruits, right? And so I would say you do the transition, do it gradually, right? And start with 1 day of like a meatless Monday, and then have one meal just be raw, where it's just a big salad filled with a lot of vegetables and olives and onions and avocado, because you need your healthy fats. And you could get that from your avocado. It's hard if you don't have the assistant of someone.
Yes.
And so you should have a health coach or a nutritionist, because that can also help on the journey.
And that's where you come in, because that's your forte, correct?
Yes, it is. I've helped a lot of people to transition.
Yeah. Maybe you can talk about your website and some of the amazing recipes that you have on that, and maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yes, so on my website, I have a few products. One of them in particular is the Liquid Master Detox, and that helps to chelate the body, remove heavy metals from your blood and from your organs. And it also nourishes the body with electrolytes and 70 amino acids and trace minerals, where what it does, it makes water wetter, give you the electrolytes that you need. It nourishes your body and allows the nutrients that you're now taking in to absorb even better. I also have recipes for like raw vegan dishes, but then I also have recipes for a delicious lentil soup that I make. If we can even get more beans and legumes into our diet, you're going to find that you become so satiated and satisfied. You realize, wait a minute, I'm not really missing, having meat today or having meat in my diet, like your minestrone soup.
Yes.
So,
So tell us a little bit about the lentil soup. What goes in it? So maybe now is the soup season, correct?
Oh, I make that soup, I would say, at least twice a month.
Okay.
I make a big pot, a huge pot, like 9 quarts. I like to caramelize my onions and fresh garlic. And so once that's caramelized in my Instapot with a little bit of coconut oil, I add my lentil. I drain them, rinse them, put them in there with some butternut squash chopped up, some zucchini chopped up, some carrots, and I add a little bit of better than bouillon. It's like this vegetable stock, but it's a paste. So I add that to the pot with about maybe, I would say 4 quarts of water, and cover it down and let it cook. And then I add a little bit of coconut milk at the end with some green scallions.
And you are a vegan chef. So if somebody is holding an event, do you actually have serving trays? Tell us about, that vision.
When I cater events, I do have like serving trays. I have desserts. I have the main course. There's soup, there's salads, there's smoothies, there's fresh squeezed juices, cold pressed juices. I also do meal prep private gatherings. And so I have certain clientele who they'll reach out to me and say, I do a lot of meal prep for bachelors because they're single, but they want to eat well. And they'll say, I'd like a week's worth of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I'll prepare them and package them out and deliver them, and they'll have them to take them through the week.
Okay. What else would you like our listeners to know about this broadcast today?
I would like our listeners to know one of the things that we didn't really touch on is fasting, right? And how it goes hand in hand with a plant-based lifestyle. Not a meat-free lifestyle, but a plant-based where we're incorporating more plants, right? Where we eat in the colors of the rainbow. So what I'd like for the listeners to do is when you're going to eat the next time, look at your plate and look to see if it has the colors of the rainbows. The purple could be purple cabbage, or it could be eggplant, zucchini, squash, the yellows, the red peppers, the yellow peppers, tomatoes, avocado, spinach, kale, lettuce. Just look at your plate and just make sure it has a lot of, the more colors that are on your plate, the healthier your plate is. And so let that be the goal, to just go for more colors, eat the rainbow.
Yeah, I love that. Yes, I'd like that. Eat the rainbow. And, God made the rainbow. Amen. So awesome. I loved hearing everything. Tell our listeners how they can contact you, maybe a little bit more about your website.
So my website is the ALKI Life, and it just has to do with having an alkaline diet, right? And so it's spelled where it's ALKI, the ALKILife.com, or you can also Google Georgia Wright Lane or Georgia Wright in CT, and it will come up in the search.
Once again on the broadcast with us was Georgia Wright, a certified nutritional coach and a certified vegan chef. She's also a Christian here locally. For more details about the ALKI Life and to hear more details about her information, you can give us a call at 860-346-1049. I'm Anissa Porticelli for News and Public Affairs.